This is Wife Material Podcast, episode 12. Onlyfans is not a career. So, ironically, I have helped out some ladies start up their Onlyfans, help them out by sharing some tutorials on how to sign up and all that stuff, and to gave some advice on how to use the platform for, making money. But the thing is, these ladies also either have a man or had a man and have kids. Therefore, I understand the need, especially during the pandemic, to make some income, work from home. And this is just one of many different ways you can make money from home. I've also encouraged them to do other things. I've shared and send them information for other methods of making money online, just OnlyFans. But with that being said, if you don't are not in a relationship, long-term relationship, or have kids, definitely shouldn't be on OnlyFans. Unless those are the situation you're in. Just because you're 18 doesn't mean you're supposed to have an OnlyFans. Just because people request for you to have an OnlyFans doesn't mean you have to have an OnlyFans. And OnlyFans, currently the way it is, it's not going to last forever. It's not going to be the way it is. I understand those who make this, profession, this is their outlet for making money. And, it's fine, get that money, get that income. Make sure you're saving, stacking it, investing it, doing responsible, smart adult things, not just thinking that this is just going to be something you can do for the rest of your life, because it doesn't work that way. Especially if you're a woman doing adult things on OnlyFans, you're only getting older, not younger, which means the money's going to dry up eventually. That's just a fact, not an opinion. I'm only talking facts. So, with that being said, you need to plan for the future where you're not going to be making money from OnlyFans. That's why I say OnlyFans is not a career. Is it a side hustle? Yes. Can it be a temporary job until you find a more meaningful, more lucrative, or respectful method of making money or other streams of income? Yes. But it's not a career. It's not something you're going to do until the day you die or you retire as an old woman. So there's that. Plus, you also have to take into account that if you want to be in a long-term relationship with a man, if you're doing this before you get in a long-term relationship with a man, this is going to become a problem. This is going to be used against you. Yeah, that capacity. So you might not want to be in a situation where you won't have a long-term relationship because you have enough plans. Especially when it becomes addictive, like I said, it's not a career. Some women think it is and act like they need to hold on to it for dear life, and that's going to become a problem. Just because, you're making money from it doesn't mean it's something you're supposed to be doing. And that's the thing. It's like, if you do it because you like to do it, it's who you are, and you do it more for you, less for the money, then that's understandable. But 99% of people that do stuff usually do stuff for money. That's all. They want things, they want to buy things, they want to travel, blah blah blah. They become selfish. Most people do things out of selfishness, and that's the point. That's the problem. Just like Instagram, OnlyFans, stuff like that. Using these types of things, after a while, you become self-absorbed. You become selfish, right? More selfish than you probably was before, and that will create a problem. You're gonna end up pretty lonely, because that's what happens with selfish people. They end up being lonely because they're selfish. It's more about them, not about anyone else. So of course you're gonna be lonely. That's how loneliness works. You're by yourself. People who are not selfish, people who are giving, people who are team players, those are the ones who are going to have not be lonely. So keep that in mind. You can do what you want, but I'm just saying, be smart. Just giving some good advice here. Do what you want, because you're gonna learn the hard way anyway, and that's the thing. I'm just trying to help some ladies avoid the problems that's going to happen in the future um, through this. Ironically, I do support and encourage the idea of OnlyFans as a way to monetize content. Monetize. I look at, it is a membership platform, if you want to call it that. It's a way you can monetize, things that you feel are worth money, right? So if if you make a video about something, like whatever it is, hypothetical. Let's say you make a 30-minute video, like let's say it's an episode like of an anime you created or something. This would be a good way to monetize. This would be a good way to put it behind a membership, right? So people can access it. And you could put and make a whole bunch of videos, right? And then put it on OnlyFans, and then share the link, and then people, pay the minimum monthly payment, right? So they can access that stuff. So it's kind of like your own Netflix type subscription type thing. Especially if you keep posting content there, then it's worth people paying monthly, right, to get access to all your new stuff. And so I see it, obviously as a tool that you can use for business. So thing is that when you're using it specifically for adult content, that's where I'm going with the whole, it's not a career. Don't try to make it seem like it's something you can do forever. It's not something temporary. Plus, at some point, OnlyFans is going to change because this concept of monetizing, basically your fan base, your subscribers, stuff like that, being able to, this platform is going to change, is all I'm saying. It's definitely going to change. Ironically, we're already seeing a whole bunch of females from, OnlyFans content creator, female OnlyFans content creator, going to Twitch, trying to make money there. And the only reason they're there is because they're trying to make money. They feel they can make more there than on OnlyFans. Or they just look at it as a second stream of income. They do OnlyFans, Instagram, plus they do that. So they're just trying to spread out. And the thing is, Twitch is not for adult content, but they're trying to convert it into it by being there. And that's obviously that's creating a problem right there. The funny thing, I was thinking, like, for all that, OnlyFans should add that feature. Technically, they have recently. They do have live streaming now on OnlyFans, which is good. So hopefully the ladies that are on Twitch, come back to OnlyFans and then do what they do on Twitch on OnlyFans instead. That's where it should have been anyway. So that's the thing. It's just the fact that certain stuff is spreading. Because then what was next? YouTube, TikTok, right? You already see women on TikTok promoting their OnlyFans. I'm not against it. It's like if you have an OnlyFans, let people know you have it, and it's up to them to decide what they're going to do with that information. But again, there are other ways to make money. There's things you can do that is better for you. And the thing that's sad is some people are so selfish, they don't even think about the future. Because for me, I'm always thinking about, like, yeah, you have an OnlyFans. Someday your kids are going to be grown, and that could cause them problems. Especially especially if right now we could be like, oh, it's not a bad thing to have an OnlyFans. Yeah, but 5, 10, 20 years from now, it can, and it's going to affect other people, like your children or your relatives. It's going to affect them in some type of way. Like I said, it will affect your relationships in the near future if you're trying to have them. You gotta be careful what you're doing. If you're creative, slick, I definitely try to encourage the idea of like, yeah, you can use OnlyFans to make money, but don't put your face out there. You know, try to avoid people knowing who you are and use, you know, thing is, there's just a better way to do the OnlyFans thing when it's just because you want to make the money, you need the money, and you need the money, not because you're just selfish and greedy, feel entitled. No, you need it, then I understand it's a way you can easily make money to help yourself out in the situation you're in, and that's understandable because it's a solution to a problem. Not the whole thing is that I don't want this to be a problem, right? This shouldn't be a problem. You should try to avoid making this into a problem. You know, it, I understand. You know, sex sells, but at the same time, we definitely should try to avoid promoting the idea of sex sells because other things should sell. You know, like values, morality, and just useful stuff. You know what I mean? There's very little use from OnlyFans if you're not providing helpful information that can help better somebody's life so that somebody can live a better life. I'm more about the whole win-win scenario, the whole like just, doing things for the benefit of mankind, not just the benefit of myself. So I'm not a selfish person like that, but a lot of people in this world are selfish, and that's unfortunate. So definitely trying to promote being selfless more than selfish. That's where the whole, it's important to, men and women to get together to love each other, help each other, but most importantly, reproduce with each other, to keep the human race alive, keep the human race, thriving for thousands of years. I'm thinking about the future. There's a lot of problems that's working on solving, but that's for a different podcast. But yeah, OnlyFans is it's not a career. That's not something that should try to turn into a career. I know it's people trying to turn Uber into a job. It's like, no, it's a side hustle. People trying to turn Airbnb into a job. It's like, no, it's a side hustle. It's so retarded that we finally have ways to make extra money that, we need to do things because, certain things are not working a certain way. And it's great that we have these side hustles, right? These extra ways of making income. But then we're trying to make it where that's the main source of income. It's like, why work at the job that I'm at when I can just quit and just be an Uber driver or be a DoorDash and quote-unquote employees? Like, but that's not what it was for. This was for side hustle. If anything, this was more for like college kids or something. Somebody who needs, to make a little extra income because they're busy doing something else. So that is not making them income like being in college. They're busy when they're college work, that they don't have much time for regular work, for a regular 9 to 5, that they could do Uber, Dash, DoorDash, and stuff like that. They fans, if that's the thing. Just so they can make their side income so they can, afford whatever they need to afford. Like internet or something. Whatever they need the money for, food, I think. Until they finish their degree and then go get a job in the world like everyone else and provide something to the world. It's always annoying is so many people are so selfish, forgetting this, like, it's not about you, it's about us. You do not exist for yourself. You're not alive to do everything you want to do. You're alive to do everything that we need to do. In order for society to function, in order for you to travel the world, right? Someone has to fly the plane. Someone has to be the flight attendant. Someone has to put gas, jet fuel in the plane. Somebody has to sell the tickets and so forth and so on. People got to be doing something in order for other people to do something. We all take turns. Selfishness is like, oh, I want to travel the world and do whatever I want. Yeah, when are you going to be helping somebody else do that? When are you going to be the one flying a plane so somebody else can go on a trip and travel the world? You're thinking about yourself, about what you want to do, but don't think about what you can do so someone else can do it. We're all supposed to take turns. Just like seeing somebody in their 60s flipping burgers at McDonald's is like, no, that should be somebody who, like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, somebody who, is just finished high school. They're going and they're transition between trying to go to college. Either they do it online or they actually go to, they actually go to the place. Like this might be their summer job or something until they start college or something. Or maybe they do this while they're going to college, whatever. The point is that this shouldn't be, this shouldn't be something that somebody in their 60s should be doing. Like owning a McDonald's franchise when you're 60 is one thing. Flipping burgers at McDonald's, that's another. Something went wrong. Because you're supposed to retire. You're supposed to be, enjoying traveling the world and stuff like that while the younger people are working, doing the things they're supposed to do. And that's the problem, is that things are supposed to go in a certain order, right? You were born, you go to school, you get your education, then you go into the workforce. You're supposed to go to the workforce to have society function, you know what I mean? For the airplanes to move, for Instagram to even exist, people created that. Like people are currently working, running Instagram, running Onlyfans, like running the business, the platforms, right? There's people doing that. At some point, they're going to stop doing those things, stop working at these places, and start doing other stuff, like more likely retiring, especially if they're old. That's the thing. At some point, you get to a point where it's like you're supposed to move on in your life. You're supposed to do other things. Not supposed to still be doing the same thing. And that's the thing. You got the younger generation. You got Gen Z, for example, thinking they're not supposed to fix the problems of the world. Like they're not supposed to fix global warming. They'll point out that global warming exists. They'll complain about it, but they're not doing anything to fix it. They're not going into science, going to college and getting science degrees to fix the problem. They're just on TikTok bitching about it and dancing like idiots. That's stupid. It's like, nah, go do something. Especially Gen Z are definitely trying to promote the idea of OnlyFans as if it is a career. If it's a career path, it's like something you're supposed to do when you finish high school. Finish high school, bang, OnlyFans. Like, no. That's retarded. OnlyFans is not for you. OnlyFans is for older people. People who already, especially older women, if you're doing adult content, it's for older women. So they can make side money. They can bring money into the household, family, because they have a family. You want to make money, go get a job like you're supposed to. Young ladies, just turn 18, go get a job. Proper. Go get your college degree. Go do something of value. Go get a man. Build something. Build a better future for mankind. Not be selfish and be like, oh, I want to have fun and do what I want. OnlyFans time. No, bullshit. Like I said, OnlyFans is not a career. It's not a career choice, not a career path at all. Same thing as Uber and DoorDash and stuff like that. Airbnb, these are temporary things. These are things you can do for extra income, but you don't do it as your main source of income. These are not jobs. Now, is it possible that these can turn into jobs in the future? Yes. That's what I'm saying. OnlyFans is not going to be adult content forever. It's going to eventually change, and it's going to be used for other things, preferably educational things, things that benefit mankind. So we'll see how that turns out. Just like YouTube pivoted and changed a lot. Now YouTube, still a place for entertainment. It was never originally for entertainment, but still a place you can get, for entertainment, but also education. Now, entertainment is overshadowing the educational aspect of YouTube, but the education stuff is still there. You still can get your news and information that from YouTube. You can learn how to do stuff from YouTube, but a lot of times it leans towards the entertainment part. I've made YouTube videos where, and I've had some people, tell me that, my YouTube videos are boring because they're not entertaining enough, not making them fun and exciting for the person to watch. But it's like, but I'm teaching you how to do something. So it's important that I tell you the instructions on what you need to do the thing that I'm teaching, and that's it. You're here for education. You're here for information. The fact that you want me to sing and dance, entertain you, like it's a movie or something, that's a problem. And that's another thing. Most of my audience tend to be adults, which surprises me. Like, you're adults, yet you want entertainment. If they're like little kids that need to learn their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s with a song or something. You're grown adults. You shouldn't have to sing and dance for you to learn something. I'm teaching you something. I'm teaching you something. Just like this podcast, for example. You don't hear no music. You don't hear no wacky sounds. I'm not trying to entertain you. I'm trying to educate you. Talking. Clean my room at the same time. I'm trying to improve things. Trying to let you know that there are better options out there. There are other things you can do. I'm not against OnlyFans. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not against it. I'm definitely a fan of OnlyFans, right? I have an OnlyFans, but it's not for adult content. Still trying to improve upon my OnlyFans account to use it for what I wanted to use it for. But the funny thing is until the adult content, becomes less of a thing on OnlyFans, my use of OnlyFans is not going to be. I always tend to do things ahead of time. Like, I tend to do things like I'm always way ahead of the world, way ahead of the game of life, as they say. Always doing things before everybody else does it. So I, using OnlyFans for non-adult content, using for other things, and I already got some people who are like, oh my god, that's such a great idea. That's what OnlyFans really should be for, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, definitely should be for what I'm doing with OnlyFans, not for what everybody else is doing with OnlyFans. But, like I said, I'm ahead of my time, so I have to wait a couple years before OnlyFans is the way it should be, so that way we can all use OnlyFans and get a lot of stuff out of it. Because what's funny is it's called OnlyFans, right? So it's the idea is like only your fans would pay to get access to whatever stuff you create for your fans. But and again, not against the adult side of OnlyFans, just saying that it's mainly that's what people promote is the adult part of OnlyFans, even though there's other aspects to OnlyFans. It's a way that you can monetize your hard work. If you work on making a bunch of useful content, it is appropriate to monetize it because it's work. You worked on it. You created it, especially if you're creating stuff that benefits people. If you're creating trash and trying to make money off of it, well, then you're just trash, and you definitely should not make money off of trash, off of random stupid stuff that the only reason you did it was for money. But to, actually have helpful information, like you have a video on how to solve a problem, whether it be how to fix a house or how to build a house or how to create, how to make your house COVID proof or something like that. Like, that'd be useful information. Well, something like that, I would prefer it to be free. Or like, information like that should be free because, it helps the world in a bigger capacity. But you get you get what I'm saying. It's like if there's something that you worked hard on and, it's something that people definitely can benefit from, but it's not like a must-have per se. Like, people must like solution to COVID-19. Like if you solve COVID-19, for example, like I have myself, that's something you should put out there for free. It shouldn't be something put behind a paywall, right? You shouldn't charge for the solution to that problem. But a lot of other problems that you can solve, that people who want the solution can have it, but it's not something that everyone has to have, right? So a universal solution definitely should be free, but a selective solution to a couple people's problems, then yeah, you can charge money for that, because these are people who have a problem that they need a solution for, but it's not a major problem that affects everybody, therefore it's okay to charge. But if it's something that affects a lot of people, then yeah, it should be free, because that's the right thing to do. Just my viewpoint on that. But there's a lot of things that you can do for a career. And that's another thing I was thinking about, was it's so annoying to have ladies in particular talking about they want a career and they want to focus on their career when they have a career, right? It's like, but that's not why we humans exist. We don't exist for careers. We don't exist to update our Facebook statuses. We don't exist to like pictures on Instagram. We don't exist for that. These are things we created to entertain us while we're living our lives, while we're doing what we're supposed to do. Supposed to do is eat, sleep, reproduce. And we're supposed to replace the last generation, right? Because they're getting old and they're not going to be able to keep society functioning because they're getting old, so they can't do the work or the governing. If they're in a position of leadership, they can't lead anymore because they're getting too old to do so. That the younger generation is supposed to replace them, take over. That's the way it's supposed to be. A lot of people out here being selfish, right, and thinking about, house, cars, money, all this stuff, is like all this materialistic stuff, and not realizing this, like, regardless of all this advancement, all this technology, this modern world that we live in, everything's still the same as it was thousands of years ago. It's still the concept of, tribe, the concept of we work together so we can survive. We still surviving. We're surviving in different ways than the past. You used to have to kill animals in order to eat. Now you can just go order, just use DoorDash and have somebody bring you something to eat, right? That's nice that we have that convenience now, but it doesn't change the fact that we still got to eat, right? We still got to survive. We still got to live till the day we die. So if we're going to be alive for like 30, 40, 60 years from now, and we have to survive for 30 to 40, 60 years, then you have to think that way. You have to work towards that goal. Make sure you can survive that long, if that's the point, which usually is. Most people act like everything's about fun and now and what they want now, and feel entitled, feel they deserve stuff. It's like, I don't know, you need to survive. What you deserve is what you need. What you need is to survive, which is to eat, sleep, and reproduce. That's what you need. And that should be the thing you want the most, is the stuff you need. Everything else doesn't matter. But too many people try to make other things matter, like Onlyfans. Try to make it matter more than it really needs to matter. It's like, it's something you could do on the side, but it's not, again, not a career. It's not a, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to be an Onlyfans girl. Fuck no. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. No one should be thinking when they grow up they're going to do OnlyFans. I see that a lot with a lot of these 18-year-old women, girls, I should say. I don't think you're a woman until you're 20, but that's for a different podcast, right? So it's like, yeah, you're 18. Good. That means you can go get a job. You could be more responsible. But immediately they want to be irresponsible. And that's unfortunate. They just immediately want to go that route. They want to go the irresponsible route. And that shouldn't be the case. But oh well. Hopefully over time, things like this will get fixed. Hopefully it's just a phase for a couple of years, and in the future things will get back to better, to the norms, as it were. Because I support work at home, especially for women. Work at home. Shouldn't have to travel to make money. Should be able to make money from home and then travel because you want to travel, right? Go places because you want to, as opposed to you have to because, you need a paycheck, right? You should be able to make a paycheck with your phone, make a paycheck with your house, at home, like making a home business. That's better. It's the future I always saw, was the idea that more people work from home, so there's less traffic because not everyone's trying to get to work because people are already at work if they're at home. Another thing is um, businesses deliberately, creating always like this idea of like an apartment building, right? And everybody in that apartment building essentially is an employee of a company that owns the building, right? And well, that's just one way. Obviously, there's other ways to set it up, but imagine working for Google, and Google owns an apartment building, and you live in that apartment building, and you work at Google. So you have a place to live, and you got a place to work, which is Google, right? But the thing is, you don't have to go to the Google building, right, to work. You can just stay at home and work, right? Your house is not only a place you sleep, but it's also a place you work. It can be more comfortable that way. You can decorate, obviously it's your home, so you can decorate it and do whatever you want with it. Because I notice people be at office buildings, right? They'll be at work, and they decorate their office or their cubicle, wherever they're working, to be a little bit more comfortable, be more. I literally saw somebody's cubicle, and they had a whole bunch of toys and like action figures, and they had a whole bunch of awesome nerd shit, right? And I'm like, oh, this person's a Star Wars fan. That's awesome. Why do you have your stuff at work? I'm like, why isn't this awesome shit at home? So that kind of concerns me. And I'm like, yeah, for all this, you're better off working at home. Especially when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this setup right here can be at home. All you need is a computer. It depends on the type of job you're doing. For most jobs, you can literally do at home. Like, since I'll notice that what most people do at work, especially if they have an office job, is they're usually sending emails or something. They're like doing paperwork and like fax and stuff. I'm like, oh, this can be done at home. You don't need to come to this building to do this stuff. I know there's a level of convenience where there's there's fax machines, right? There's a large supply of paper you can use to print and stuff. There's a whole bunch of pens. If you need pens, you can go get pens. Like, I understand, the idea that there's a lot of stuff, is supplied for you to do the task, the work, but it's not really necessary. Plus, another thing is about working from home as opposed to working from a company, is that you're mainly working at the company, using the company resources to do the things they want you to do. And you can only work with so much, and so forth and so forth. There's so many things that I see wrong with that. It's like, I prefer work from home because from home, I could work 10 jobs. Like, I could work, not necessarily 10 jobs, but I could work for 10 companies. I can provide, work for 10 companies. And the better I am at working, the better I am at doing the task, the better. Because then I can work for 10 companies and benefit these 10 companies with doing the work that they need me to do. And if I could do it, proficiently, and I'm really good at it, then, I definitely should be making a lot of money from being really good at what I do, right? And I don't have to work long hours unless I choose to. I can work less hours and, still make good money. If I work more hours, I make, better money. But it's just the idea of being able to have the choices, be able to choose how it's going to, how your finances are going to be, because you're putting in the efforts. But it's just it's the future. We'll see what happens. I definitely have multiple streams of income. I have a job, but I'm definitely looking forward to not working at this job anymore. And, I like the job, but it's not it's not my purpose in life to be working at this job I'm at. But it is, it's a good job. It's not difficult to do the job that I'm doing. So that's nice in itself. And the money is decent, but not what I prefer. So hopefully I'll, you know, get everything lined up, doing things. Because there's things I want to do that I have very little time to do because I'm stuck. You know, like the 10 hours I spend at work a day. Well, that's 10 hours I spend there. I don't have the ability to go out and do things. And then I work at night, not daytime. So I sleep during the day, work at night. So that closes up opportunities for me to do things that normally requires me to do it during the daytime because that's the time I'm asleep. So that creates a problem among other ones. So it's like, yeah, at some point I'm going to get to the point where it's like I don't work at nights no more, unless I want to, but typically won't be working nights. I'll just sleep at night and then do the things I want to do during the daytime that benefit the world, obviously. You know, there's that, and help other people do the same. That's why I have That's why I have a website with multiple things on it. One of those things is Pocket Money. It's a page that has a whole bunch of information of making money. Links for that will be in the description. So check it out. A lot of useful information that I have there for making money. These are things that I use myself to make money, so I do make money. Like, I'm trying to scale up, of course. I'm trying to make more money, so I'm working on that. And of course, the more money I make, or the more I do to make money, obviously I'll update that page on my website to, you know, reflect that, to share the stuff I'm doing to make more money for those who want to make more money. Because, you know, I understand. We need the money because it's a tool. We need it to do the things we need to do. We need it to eat. We need it to, you know, pay bills and stuff, and to travel and to live life. That's the thing. We don't work. We don't live to work. We work to live, and that's something I keep trying to promote. I've been promoting that for a long time. It's like we don't exist to have a 9 to 5. We have a 9 to 5 so we can live, so we can do the things that we want to do, you know, and that's the way it should be. We should be doing the things we want to do. You know, I read that as part of the human race is that we need to help make sure society functions in, you know, the way it functions to benefit people. You know, somebody got to flip burgers at McDonald's, for example, but at some point that's going to be replaced by robots. But that's for a different conversation. But the point is that, you know, we still got to do what we got to do as a society to help each other. And there are ways, you know, that we can help each other. You know, there are some things that we are doing that are helping each other. You can say you're helping somebody with OnlyFans. Right? You're helping a lot of people with OnlyFans. That is one way of looking at it. You know, but you know, it's not doing more. It's doing something, but it's not doing more. We can always do more. You know, humans are, you know, have great potential, but you gotta learn from the past. You gotta learn from others to improve. Something that I always see that really annoys me is that people forget is like, you do exist to replace people. Like, you're here to replace someone else. You're not here to do whatever you want. You're not here for you, and the world does not exist for you. You exist for the world. You exist to help. You exist to replace somebody who couldn't continue doing what they did. So if there's somebody who was a scientist that I don't know, that works on spaceships, right? Space shuttles and stuff, trying to get us to other planets so we can travel the universe, for example. But they're getting old. Someday they'll die, so they can't continue working on that project. Well, you are supposed to pick up the slack. You are supposed to replace them and continue that project, right? Continue that work. But too many people nowadays, too many of the younger generation are not being, you know, raised to do that, raised to understand that that's your purpose. You exist for that. You exist to get married. You exist to have kids. You exist to replace somebody else in this world. But we'll see. We'll get there eventually.